everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? It's Friday, and the grow lights are back. They laugh every time these grow lights are on. But let me see who we've got in the chat. But I wanted to let you know we've got Diane from Shale Hollow Farmstead. She's been on our live before, but she's very much a dear friend and entrepreneurial inspiration, let me tell you. So you like that?
I do. It sounds a whole lot better than ADHD can't get her stuff together.
Yeah, crazy goat lady.
I mean, I kind of own that one anymore.
All right, let's see who we got in the chat here. So we've got Alicia at Strange Reality. Hello, hello. Lisa Colovi. Hello and thank you. Let's see. I'm just trying to get this to move down. My usual Tony at Our Cabin in the Woods. Hello. Hello, CB at Hooga Homestead. And we have Xander from Dark Lord Minette. Hello. Welcome in. Hello, Craig and Debbie. Hope you guys are doing well. And let's see. I'm trying to get this go down. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Just trying to go down through everything because I know a bunch of people just came in. Hey, Homelands Homestead, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Spartman, my favorite funny looking rash. He said that just like that funny looking rash you can't get rid of, I'm back. Let's see here. I just saw my message that I said, yes, I'm having her do that, so please bear with us. I thought it said, please have a beer with us. Let's see. I know it. Broke Cowgirl. Hello, Gwen. Hello, hello. Productive. Kind of got some weeding done in the garden today. Oh my gosh, nice. There's a ton of messages ready. Hey, Barb's Country Home. Welcome in, my friend. Hey. Oh, thanks. Our Cabin in the Woods. Appreciate that. Hey, Andale Homestead. Hey, Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. Hey, Grace and Fire. Glenda, hope you're doing well. Hey, Rebecca, Suburban Hillbilly. Hey, Gail Southern Living and Myrtle Bee Farms. Hey, Katie, glad to have you here. Oh, let me see this. The only thing I hate about this stuff is I can't. Hey, little Eddie Doolittle, thank you. On Melon, it truncates the name of the channel or the person. And then when I put it on the screen, it has click to update across the name of the channel. So it's kind of hard to see. Let's see here.
There's always something with technology.
I know it. You're kind of fuzzy sounding all of a sudden. You weren't a minute ago. It's kind of weird.
Okay. Somebody said I was earlier, so I put an earbud in. Let me take it out and see if that makes a difference.
Okay. Hey, Scotty too, Hottie. Thanks for being here. Lazy Days Raid. Thank you so much. How's that now? Can't hear you. Nope. Did you mute it by mistake? It may have connected to the earbuds. It's all right. We get through this. Bear with us, guys. Hey, Joyfully Orange. Hey, Canadian Family. Hey, Carrie Leonard. Charlie, Fallen Arkansas Veterans. Mrs. JRS. Jesse and Lisa are on their way. Cool. Hey, Christine. Mrs. Gilliam Farms. Hope you're doing well. I'm trying to get through everybody. Hello, Lazy Days Ahead. Thank you so much for the love raid. We appreciate it. I'm just trying to get through here. Hey, Tina Ladybug. Yep, we're working on the fuzzy sound. Bear with us. Do I understand the words that are coming out of your mouth? Yes, I do, Spartman. It was way too cold here today, and I am not thrilled. I know you were talking about Diane, though. Go ahead, Diane. No sound. It's okay. This happens a lot. Hey, back to good. Anything? No, you can try going out of that window and shutting your Bluetooth off so it disconnects the pod. Bear with us, guys. Appreciate your patience. So weird. You were there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take you off the screen and bring you back and see if that works. No worries, Rebecca. Lurk away. I hope you feel better. I'm so sorry. Anything? No. You know what you can do? Log out and then log back in, and I'll bring you up when you come back in. I've had that before. Okay. All right. Awesome. I'll let you down there. So guys, bear with us. So Rebecca, I'm a suburban hillbilly. I am so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry, but I know you need a distraction too. So I'm sending you my prayers and my love, but I'm going to move on. So I hope that helps you, but you're in our thoughts and prayers. Absolutely. Let's see here. So the grow lights are here. What do you think's under those grow lights? And it's not what you may be thinking. Guess what we had last night? The big frost came. It got the squash. Didn't seem to get the strawberries too bad. But I had already taken everything down because the 20s, we knew that it wouldn't be that good. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring her back up. Hello.
Hello. Do we have anything now?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Is it fuzzy?
Only a little bit, but it's not bad. It's much better than it was.
Okay, good.
So glad to have you here tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I was just explaining to them why the grow lights are on, because everybody always teases me about my grow lights. And everybody said much better sound.
Good.
And I have my peppers under there because I started my King of the North peppers from Baker Seed in March. And they owe me because those sons of guns just started fruiting and the frost hit. So they are indoors on the table under grow lights. And that's because Mr. Mischievous Diesel likes the smell of cow manure and composted manure.
Oh, yep.
And the barricade that I put all around it
didn't stop him.
Did not stop him. He kept knocking it over. So
are you sure he's not part goat?
He's a bulldog. That's usually what the explanation is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, Life in the Piedmont. Hey, Denise Pacell, hope you're doing well. Hey, Lynn. So yeah, I was like, this is ridiculous. So I brought them in. My husband asked me if he could go buy $6 worth of peppers and we could get them out of the house. And I said, no, they owe me. I've been raising those puppies for months now.
Yeah, now it's a competition with yourself.
Yeah. So I have 2 jalapeno plants that came from the local nursery that still had jalapenos on there, and I wanted them to grow. Nice. And I already got a bunch from them. Not a lot, but enough for us. And then the rest are my bell peppers and my poblanos that I planted late. So I said, let me try them. Yeah.
I did not have success with poblanos this year. I got 3 and they were about an inch, maybe 2 inches long.
I heard it was a bad year for peppers aside from Peppergate.
You know what? I have to say it was a great year for peppers here. So I did some different things and I was honestly giving them away by the end.
Wow.
But I patted my luck with like 60 or 70 pepper plants. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, that'll do it for sure. The poblanos were ones that I saved from a supermarket one. Nice. But because it was a really good pepper,
Yep.
And I said, let me save the seeds. And I put them out, but they got planted late. So it makes sense. They probably got planted back in June.
Oh, wow. And for you guys, especially, that is super late.
Yeah. But I mean, it finally blossomed and started getting peppers. And I was like, no, not doing that.
Yeah, I have known to be stubborn that same sort of way.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, Lynn from the official Lynn show, Ann and Lynn show, sorry. Some people are saying some of their peppers are short this year. Other people said they had a good year. Yeah, we had a good year last year. It was the first year we got bell peppers because they were in the greenhouse. I think that our greenhouse, the new one, needs to be moved in a different spot. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's the reason for the grow lights. You
guys did so much adding with greenhouses this year too that I would imagine it will take a little bit just to figure out where each one needs to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we added the mobile one, but we also added one that I saw on Craigslist that was a good deal. And that one I put over the existing garden over cucumbers, and it did such a great job that we actually got cucumbers from regular vine cucumbers. We usually don't get them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm actually surprised because they did better than our bush cucumbers that I planted this year.
I've never done a bush cucumber. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I thought it would be better for the greenhouse because last year I planted like 3 cucumber plants in a 5-gallon bucket, and I put a little tripod over it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even get in the door of the greenhouse with that there. But it produced heavily and it really did great. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try bush cucumbers.
Huh.
But it was a wet, cool start to the year, which killed a lot of plants for us.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you guys just don't have the same amount of summer. I mean, we should be cooler than we are by now too, but it's still like 65 or 70 degrees now. Even we're coming up on 10 o'clock.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, it was 75 all day.
That's nice. That's nice. I think we only got up to about 48 today, which is a little cooler for us. Usually it warms up during the day and it's cold at night. But this morning when I did chores, I think they said the temp was 30, but it felt like 22. And it definitely felt like 22 because I was out there in my PJs and my boots and no jacket. And I was kind of like, I think I need gloves.
Yeah, it gets kind of cold kind of quick, especially when you're not used to it.
Yeah. And then we'll go back up. But I think they had forecasted that we were going to be in the 20s last night. And we still didn't get as low as they said. So.
Oh, well, that's good.
It's ironic. The freeze warning is like a big circle around us. And I'm like, we had frost.
Yeah, you'll take it, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I've never cut a garden down. I've always let frost get to it first, but it's funny.
I usually do.
For me to actually cut it down. I was like, nothing's going to happen by the end of the week, so we might as well get it done.
Yeah, might as well. I did hoe out a couple of my tomato plants this week just because I'm sick and tired of tomatoes now. But
I bet.
We had a lot. It was a good year for those, and I had a lot of plants. So.
How many did you plant, plant-wise?
Till I killed off some of the seedlings, I started probably about 80.
Okay.
And I ended up with well over 350 pounds of tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of my heirloom ones, and I'm holding the phone with my other hand since the laptop wasn't connecting. Some of my heirloom Hungarian hearts were well over 1 kilo each.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
Huge. They were huge.
Yeah, it was a good year for tomatoes because we grew a lot of tomatoes. I mean, for us, we grew a lot of tomatoes. Yeah. And I mean, I had 30 plants. Ryan always reminds me, he's like, the difference is ours fruit. And once that ripens, then we get another fruit.
Nice.
And that's it. Like, we don't get that loaded.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, we don't get that because it was too cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it was a stellar year for us with 30 plants. So, I mean, I think one of the things that I've learned from this year was really to focus more on like Romas and purple Cherokees because they work. They produce.
That's exactly, yeah.
We grew Moskvik, and it was funny because somebody posted on Instagram a Moskvik tomato, and she was holding it in her hand like this, right? She's holding it like that, and I'm like, that's a Moskvik? I said, mine looks like this.
Oh no.
Mine looks like a cherry tomato. She goes, maybe you got the wrong ones.
Yeah. I wonder if Peppergate extended to tomatoes.
I don't know. I actually bought them 2 years ago. But we'll see. We'll see. It was just pretty funny, you know.
That is funny.
I just want to, let's see. Gail didn't have the best tomato year. No, because you had that heat. That horrible heat in Texas.
Huh. Yeah. They really did, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they did. I'm just looking at the chat real quick.
And those crazy long heat waves.
Yeah. I went down to Texas in the nick of time. I will tell you that right now. And I went in June because after I left, it just went crazy.
October of last year was pretty good. It was actually stinking cold the days we were down. But
yep,
it worked out.
So tell us a little bit about you, what you feel comfortable sharing in a public forum.
Sure. Well, what do you want to know?
Why don't you tell us about your animals and your business and all that?
We can do that. We have 3, soon to be 4 permanent Nigerian goats in our herd. At the moment, there is 5 out there. So I have the buck on loan, and another friend's doe came down to hopefully get bred as well. But we farm, and I use the term loosely, on 2.5 acres. It's just a small. I rotate fencing pretty frequently so that we have enough pasture for the animals, and we have, and I feel bad saying this, somewhere between 15 and 20 chickens. I don't actually know at the moment how many we have, which I feel like makes me a bad chicken keeper, but somewhere between 15 and 20 black copper Morans, and one very, very spoiled barn cat. So we are down to 3 humans. One of our kiddos sort of graduated the house and went out on their own, and one in high school yet, and kind of made an accidental business out of goat's milk soap and lotion. I've been making soap since the oldest was small because they had so many exactly, Smudge, the spoiled barn cat.
Who gets to come in on cold hurricane days. Windy rain.
Well, and my husband was home today, so he left her in because it started to rain. And she napped near him for a while. But yeah, started making soaps. Now, not goat's milk soap, just regular cold processed soap, probably almost 20 years ago. And the lotions happened 18 months or so ago, again by accident. Somebody was asking me for them, and I said, I've never done it. I'll try. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Threw the first couple of batches away. They were horrible. One was runny, one was greasy, and they were just they were awful.
Yeah.
Finally tweaked it enough that I'm really super happy with the recipe, and as a non-lotion person, I actually use it every day now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Feel better, Vay's Place. So I'm just trying. If I ask you something and you don't want to answer it, please just say you don't want to discuss it here.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I respect people's privacy, and I know that not everybody wants to share everything. But you have an online business, right, for your soap? Because I have the website in the description box.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And my friend who got your stuff absolutely loves it.
That's awesome.
Loves it. And
I love hearing that.
Oh, she loves it. And she was even more intrigued because she's not of the homesteader movement. She's an urban girl. Yeah. And you sent me a quick video of you milking your goats. And I sent
Yeah.
it to her because I told her the whole story about how you milk your goats, you make your soap, your lotion, and all that. And she was just like, wow, that's so cool. So
Yeah,
that was really
I love
neat.
sharing. I love sharing that kind of stuff too. It's just I just know how clueless I was even just 3 years ago about goats, and the amount that the homestead community has shared with me as we got going. I don't know that I could have done it without a couple of the ladies. Stacy over at EOTL Farm on Instagram is a huge one, and there's several others too that I'll put some links out later on or something too, because they were just they held my hand a few times. Stacy especially, she actually called me a couple times when I was having a problem early on.
Nice.
And but again, it's a good example of the homesteading community coming together.
Yep.
And just supporting each other.
Absolutely. That's who my mentor is, which is Rebecca and Josh over at Halbert Farm in Texas. And, I owe so much to them because I've always loved the fact that they would share what they knew.
Yep.
And say, I have no idea.
That's huge to me. Like, I appreciate the heck when somebody says, I would love to help you, but I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. I mean, like she always says to me, she's like, you deal with that cold weather. She says, we have no clue.
Yep.
We did like the extreme heat. She's like, I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you about the mister systems and all that stuff. But like, they don't need all the bedding in their buildings and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, the pigs are enjoying the cool dirt for a change. So it's much different.
Well, and especially because the bugs cut back as soon as it gets cold. I mean, it gives them a break from so many things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Annette at the Cow Emporium. Thanks for coming here. Yeah, it's a huge difference. Like a lot of people talk about the bugs in their gardens in the warmer climates, or they talk about the parasite issues. And for the most part, we have parasite kill off, whereas a lot of places may not.
Yeah, we did not last year. And I definitely felt like I had to stay on top of it a little bit more this year than normal.
And you look at your own goat parasite issues through a microscope because you taught yourself. Is that correct?
Most of the time. Yeah. I kind of decided the other day that I was sending my next sample out because I want to make sure that I'm not missing things. But yes, so I'm actually a biologist by training. I have a bachelor's in biology. It's been a long time. I've been at home since we had our first one. So it's been a long time since I've been in the workforce with any regularity. I had a few part-time jobs here and there. But yeah, so I had some microscope experience at least.
Yeah.
And not exactly vet tech experience, but kind of like some exposure at least to some of that kind of thing. So it wasn't as out of my realm as it is for some folks.
Sure. I think that's pretty cool though, to be able to recognize that stuff, use the skills that you have.
Yeah. Or at least have the skills to say, gee, I'm not sure what that is, and reach out to a couple people and say, hey, do you know? Or, can you help me make an educated, or here's my educated guess. Does it agree with yours?
Right. And I think that's a big thing, especially with goats, because it's all about managing the parasite load, correct?
Well, not all about, but yeah, that's definitely a big piece of it.
Okay. What else would you say that goes with it? Because I don't have goats. I'm clueless.
Diet. Really, and that's a great one. Common misconception is that they eat anything. They in fact don't, and there's a surprising amount of toxic plants to them. Toxic ones that are common to us, rhododendron, different types of azaleas, things like that. So I would say that that's probably of equal importance, especially as you're getting into it and as you're setting things up, is becoming aware that you can't just have them eat anything.
Right.
So
Right. I agree.
And like cows, from what I understand, can have at least limited quantities of moldy hay. Goats are like horses. They really can't have any,
Mhm.
and it can kill them quick if they get into it.
And they're
So,
probably not like, because, my husband has a background from when he was younger, and like the cows would eat, a lot of the cows would eat the good hay and leave the
yep,
moldy hay.
yep. That's a lot how I've experienced both the goats and horses. Um, they're smarter than a lot of people give them credit for, and they seem to know. And even the plants. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read.
Oh, that's okay. You can wait until you're done talking. I just put
But
it up
yeah,
so I don't forget it.
I got you. But yeah, it's trial and error to a point. And as like when we move the fence around the property, if it's something new, you learn how to take a picture and identify that plant and then Google it real darn quick just to make
Yep.
sure that it's going to be safe.
Oh, absolutely. I was telling Rebecca and Josh that when I couldn't get alfalfa hay, because that's what I was always told that coonies needed was alfalfa.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan turned around and said to me when I couldn't get it, he said, "Do they really need alfalfa?" And I
Off to
said,
Google.
I was like, and Google's not always right.
No, it's true.
So I remember talking to my mentors about it and saying, hey, like I can't get it and blah, 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 and looking up. And then this is the thing a lot of people don't realize, right? Or don't think to do sometimes is I sat there looking up what prairie grass was because the only hay I could get was prairie grass mix.
Okay.
And I got thinking, well, they're probably eating prairie grass in my backyard. So
True.
let me look up what prairie grass is. And I looked up all that. Then I looked up, are any of them toxic to cooney pigs? That whole thing. Because I couldn't get alfalfa. But the biggest thing my mentor said, because she said she couldn't get alfalfa one time, how to get something else. Because millet is very popular here.
Okay.
And she, it was okay for them, but she said, if they'll eat it.
Oh.
So she's like, you don't want to buy a 900 to 1,000-pound bale.
Right.
And then they don't eat it.
I was going to say, and then have them not touch it.
Right. And the other part is like, we got one bale that was moldy when I opened it, and the pigs will eat it.
Really?
And then they'll get sick.
Oh, not
so
good.
They don't have the wherewithal to stop eating it.
Right.
But they'll know to leave certain plants in the pasture. It's really funny. You see the tall plants in the pasture, they won't touch them. It's something they don't want or can't have.
Okay.
So yeah. It's pretty wild.
It is.
Tony at our cabin in the woods said, Diane, remember, we all never fail. We just learn what works or what don't, and not to do it again.
And isn't that the darn truth?
So true.
It really is. Yeah. And it's amazing how quickly we learn what does and doesn't work.
And I think the kind of learning that we do, meaning that we actually, it's that life experience learning. You make the mistake, you don't make it again. It stays with you.
It's true.
I mean, that's for me. It's like when you physically do it and you screw it up, you're like, oh, we're not doing that again.
Yeah. Or it just massively doesn't work with whatever it is.
Right. Right.
So.
Like, I think I've decided after I was canning tomatoes today that were ours. Now, I'm not going to give the numbers of my pounds yet because I'm doing a video on that because I'm pretty excited about what we got this year. It's best so far. But the funniest thing is, I'm sitting here and going, I'm going to make sauce. And I'm all excited. I got 2 pints canned.
Hey.
And I got a pint in the refrigerator.
It's 2 pints you didn't have before, though.
It is. But I'm just trying to think maybe there's something. When we buy the cases of produce, I was trying to think maybe there's something else I could do with them that would be better.
So, and on the flip side of that, I had so many this year that I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I've made as much sauce as we're going to be able to eat, maybe for the next 2 years, and we already have soup. I ended up making ketchup because I could cook it down harder and have something else to do with it. It was definitely the flip side of the issue.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Gwen at Broke Cowgirl Homestead had the same problem. She was in Texas and her tomatoes came on hot and heavy.
That's
And I don't know,
awesome.
she got 80 something, whatever jars of it. And it's just crazy. We made salsa verde
Ooh.
with our green tomatoes. Mind you, my green tomatoes are not like most people's, they're little.
Oh, okay.
So thank you to the immersion blender because I peeled as much as I could and then I gave up. And
I'll tell you what, I couldn't do sauce or paste or any of that stuff or even applesauce without that squeeze-o.
oh yeah,
It's just, oh my gosh, sucker's a lifesaver, especially because my husband hooked it up to the drill for me.
that's awesome.
It is hilarious. People see it, they're like, aren't you supposed to hand crank that? Maybe like 100 years ago, that's what you did, but no, sorry, my cordless drill works great.
That's awesome. Tony said he did 87 quarts of sauce.
Holy cats.
And Annette at the Cow Emporium is going to send me some tomatoes. Cindy Squirrel, hello. And she said she did tomato juice because it's the easiest and fastest thing to do.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Yep, Xander, I froze all my tomatoes, and I had 4.5 gallon Ziplocs of them.
So I was bringing them in by the wash basket. You know that apple video that I posted over on Instagram?
Yeah.
I was washing them. Yeah, I learned that because of the tomatoes, because I was bringing them in by the wash basket full, going, these are never going to fit in my sink. And you've seen the dishes situation. I've posted it to my Instagram stories. It's terrible. So,
I love it.
Oh, so I was rinsing tomatoes off in the bathtub and just putting them in the stock pot as fast as I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bananas.
And I've done the freeze dried. I've done the freeze dried before. I've actually do my freeze dried powder, my peels usually.
Oh, yeah.
And this time around, I took all the stuff after I put it through the food mill, and I put that in a Ziploc, and I'm going to freeze dry that and make that into a tomato powder.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it won't be as strong, but it'll be really cool.
But I was going to say, it's, again, more than what you had when you started.
Yep, absolutely. And Gail, I pinned her link to her channel on YouTube at the top of the chat. If you don't see it, it's in the description to the video.
I am so grateful you know this stuff.
I learned it. I didn't know it all. I didn't know it.
I am YouTube inept. Still.
Not at all. You have a great channel.
Thank you. A couple of you and Leanne over at Mennonite Farmhouse have really been huge in helping me learn what little bit I feel like I know.
Yeah, you need anything, let me know. If I don't know it, I'll send you back over to Leanne.
Thanks. She knows it all, doesn't she?
She does.
It's awesome.
She does.
I apologize if I make faces. I'm trying to figure out the darn bifocals still.
Oh, I have them. I know. Oh, did I show you my glasses?
I love it.
That's the kind of week it's been.
Isn't that the truth?
I can't see without my glasses.
Same.
So yeah. And so I broke my glasses, and I was lucky to make an appointment, and they got me in quickly, like within 2 days. And so I was walking around with my old pair, which are scratched so bad. And then I finally got that all set. And then yesterday the refrigerator broke.
Oh, I can't believe that. You've had such a strange string of luck. It's been so kind of random for you lately.
Ryan said yesterday while we were in the store, he's like, while we're here, should we buy a stove?
Mm.
And I said,
Oh,
no.
yikes.
Because I don't know if you've seen the electric stoves now, the changes they've made to them.
No.
It's a whole long story. I'm not going to get into that whole controversial part of it, but
Okay.
they come with a shutoff thing in the middle of the burner.
Okay.
And I want to be able to can on it, and gas is just too much for me to do here. So
Okay.
I wanted just an old electric coil stove.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to buy replacement burners for the old stove that we have. And I told them, you just put so much into it. Nope.
Yeah. Well, and clearly I'm out of touch because I haven't seen them lately, but yikes.
I think they're being banned like ceiling fans are.
Oh, wait, what? Ceiling fans are being
Yeah, I'll
banned?
have to send you information on it.
Okay, clearly I live in a cave. I think maybe I like my cave.
I know. I like your cave. Cave is awesome.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I try not to stick my head in the sand, but maybe I like it there more than I thought I did.
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. So the glasses thing, I was seeing Gail said she needs new glasses herself. Hubby said she had to wait. I had to go because I have to have them for driving.
Right.
I have to have them for walking.
I get it. If I'm not walking just somewhere that's super, super familiar for me, nope.
Yeah, I was teasing Ryan the other day because I had the broken side was off when it happened and I had to go feed. So I'm going out there and, he was home this week and I turned around and I was like, is that you, Lucy? Looking at one of the pigs and Lucy's a chicken.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
My gosh,
which state are you in? I'm in South Dakota, Vay's place.
And
I think it is the gas stove, but they've changed the electric stoves. Maybe I got that part wrong, Spartman.
Yeah.
Washing machines here don't come with an agitator anymore. Seriously, dirty clothes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd be out of luck without an agitator.
Yeah, no kidding.
As it is, I bust out the washboard sometimes because I know the washing machine just can't get the crud off of it.
Yeah. I've been using that laundry soap that Nikki shared, 5 Dog Farm. Yeah. I've been really happy with it.
Good.
The other thing is when it's a really tough thing is that OxyClean stain stick seems to be really good. It's like a gel-based stick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it works pretty good. But we got to get back to you. Do you care to tell us about your equine friend?
I would love to, and you may have to shut me up.
Tell us all about him if you don't mind.
So I have a Palomino mutt of a horse. We rescued him. It'll actually be 8 years next week. He came from a kill buyer, and my husband's never been around horses. My kids had never been around horses at that point. I grew up with them, but I hadn't had them in a number of years. And so a couple of friends said, hey, we can help get him bailed out, but we don't have a place to keep him. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I can do the place to keep him and I can do the work, but here's the deal. If something comes up, I have little kids. The family has to be first. So this poor guy came to us probably 200 pounds underweight. Like he wasn't emaciated, but he wasn't rounded. No muscle tone. His coat was dull. It was just terrible. His shoes were grown up into his feet. You couldn't even tell that he had shoes on. He was a little bit of a hot mess, but he was gentle getting on the trailer. He walked right on the trailer. Seemed like he was And at the time we weren't sure if he was drugged or just mannerly. Thankfully, it turned out to be mannerly.
Good.
Got him home, got the farrier out, happened upon a farrier that I hope he never retires. He's a little bit older gentleman than me. Not old, just older than I am. It's a thing. He helped us get the feet squared away. We figured out in the process that he had foundered multiple times. Was super, super sore. Had to have shoes just to help keep him comfortable, and that's fine.
Yeah, poor guy.
So at the time, one of the kids was learning to read, and the horse wasn't skittish or shy, and his name is Tuesday because we picked him up on a Tuesday, and that's all more creative I am.
I'm glad you explained that because I did find it intriguing and wanted to know how he got his name, and I should have asked.
We picked him up on a Tuesday. That's all the more there is to the name.
I love it.
And just gave him some time, started him on some good quality hay, some good quality feed, just slowly building up because they can actually get very sick very easily from too much feed. And just spent time with him. So one of the kids was learning how to read, and they would actually sit in the feed trough and practice their reading.
Aww.
And that's who he opened up to. That is his buddy. Turns out we ended up with a darn nice horse.
He's a sweetheart.
And he loves kids. So somebody was clearly rough with him in his former life, but we've kind of worked really hard. We spent a ton of time building some trust and building, just him knowing that I'm not going to whack him or I'm not going to, if I do something, I'm just getting big and saying no.
Right.
And he responds really, really well to that. So he turned out to be the coolest, goodest boy ever.
He's awesome. And you often talk about a while ago, you posted in your stories about he was out and didn't need his grazing muzzle.
Yes.
Can you explain why he needs a grazing muzzle and why it was so cool that he didn't need it?
Yes. So he's got what I tell people who aren't familiar with horses, kind of the equine equivalent of diabetes or pre-diabetes. So he's very sensitive to sugars in the grasses and trees and things like that. Apples, that kind of thing. If he has too much of it, his feet get so sore and he can hardly walk. So we try really hard to watch. And our summer has been really strange. It's been really, really dry and then soaking wet and then really, really dry again. So I tried it because he was blowing through them, but the stinker has figured out how to wear them out in about 3 weeks. He's too smart for his own good, I think. And while it was so dry, I thought, well, I'll try this. And he was okay for a day, and then I'd put it back on, and it just worked this time. And I don't know if it'll work next year. I have to watch in the fall because fall sugars are actually, it seems like almost worse for him in particular.
Wow.
And just like with humans, each horse is different. So each one, even with the same condition, and it's laminitis, he could be kind of some pre-Cushing's for people that are familiar with that. Mm-hmm. Fall for him seems to be the biggest trigger. Spring's not great, but fall is really bad sometimes.
Gotcha.
So
he's beautiful.
He's so sweet. He's so sweet.
War Angel Farms is in Georgia. They're a rescue, and I feel embarrassed that I am not remembering her name at the moment, but she's a wonderful lady. She was on the podcast with Casey and all of us. And she just, her and her mom run this place, and they go and rescue horses from kill pens
That's awesome.
and bring them home. And it's just truly incredible. And they also have a lot of other rescue animals, as you can imagine. And then they have, the whole kit and caboodle going on. But a lot of horses, donkeys, tortoises, chickens,
Oh, wow.
everybody's been rescued.
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect because we had always, as kids, kind of vetted and purchased the horse for what we needed them for, wanted them for. I guess wanted them for is a better thing because we didn't need them for transportation. We just did some 4-H stuff and things like that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
We used to rescue ex-race horses a long time ago. That was Blue's Self-Reliance. Hey, Blue.
And that takes a special person too, because sometimes mentally the former racehorses are just not okay.
No, I know about the horses, but I actually know a story about a rescued greyhound that
cool.
used to be in the races.
Okay.
And the person who rescued the greyhound ended up having a vehicle like a minivan that had the beeping when the back tailgate went up.
Okay.
And the animal took off.
Oh.
And they had to go, it was still programmed to the races, so to speak.
Yep.
So it was just crazy. Horses can live 25 to 35 years, depending on breed and living condition.
Yeah.
And then my answer was about horses in the kill pens. I'm looking back, Gwen.
Okay.
Well, let's see. She said, did you mean about the screws with the grass balance or another comment? I'm sorry. Can't seem to see it.
I'm impressed that you can read those and talk at the same time.
Everybody says that, but then I look back on these lives and I'm like, let's see. I'm just going through everything. So we're kind of wrapping down to our time, which is really late by you, by the way, because you're 2 hours ahead of me.
Yep. We're about 10:15 right now.
Yeah.
That's all right.
The ages of the horses in the kill pens could be any age. Yep.
Yeah. And honestly, any breed, any condition, any background, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's truly it's truly incredible. I think, there's a lot of animal causes out there, and there's a lot of awful animal stuff. And I'm not trying to be cold, right?
Right. Yeah.
The one thing that I really, really struggle with is don't get the animals if you don't do your research.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need to know what you need to have. You need to know what you're prepared for.
Absolutely.
All that stuff.
Yep.
That's a huge thing for me. That's a huge thing.
I completely agree with you. Even just from the horse world, just kind of seeing people that thought they so desperately wanted X type, and it was too much. They, one of those jumped in with both feet sorts of things.
Right. Right. And just because the animals are adorable, or Susie wants a pony.
Oh, those don't get me started.
Yeah, let's back off.
Yeah, let's let that one alone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I always use the example. Good night, Vase Place. Thank you. Good night, Strange Reality. Thanks for being here. And So one of the stories that I often tell is that, like, I've never been a dog person. I'll spare the whole story on that. I've never been a dog person. I grew up in New York
Fair.
City. That's why. Right?
Wow.
Dogs were mean. I thought it was the dog. It was the owner.
Yep.
My husband grew up with dogs, loved them. And so when we first got married, we had no dogs, right? We had a kid, no dogs. So that's how we got Yogi. Was we were researching English bulldogs, and I researched so extensively. Now I'm a little bit overkill. So I researched so extensively that I knew what an old English bulldog was. So when he came up on Pet Finder as a purebred old English bulldog, I knew about the breed.
Okay.
And that was super beneficial because we always laughed and called him the $2 million dog because he was always at the vet.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
So we knew bulldogs had health issues. We knew that Old English had a little less, but here we were with Yogi. And I would have spent 20 million on him if I had to, because I just adored that dog. You know what I mean? But it's like you have to do the research, or you're going to get in a position where you can't afford something.
Right. Yep. And then that can throw off the balance of your entire life.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep. It absolutely can. So
last call for questions, if anybody has any, and I'm just going to, while we're waiting for them to type real quick, I just wanted to, I know Diane is probably dying to go to bed.
I'm actually okay. I had a late coffee today. So
nice. So while you guys, if you have any questions, type them in the chat now. Is there anything else you want to share about, like, how long you've been doing this, or share about your business or anything like that? Because people watch from all over, and I know it's up to you.
Yeah. I've been doing it long before I realized that what I was doing was homesteading. The better part of at least 15 years, if not closer to 20. Wow. It was one of those things where having the produce and the canning and the garden and that kind of thing sort of helped us be a one income family at that point. And that was important to both of us, was for one of us to be home, and it made more sense for it to be me. So, and honestly, I didn't learn to cook particularly well till probably about 10 years ago. I still feel like that's where I struggle the most, is enjoying it. I don't enjoy cooking as much as I enjoy some of the other things. I love to bake, but I don't love cooking. So yeah, it kind of a weird, we got chickens by accident when I was helping a farmer friend. She sent the kids home with peeps. And I'm like, what are we going to do with these? And you just, okay, well, we have to do right by them. So
yeah,
you figure it out. You figure it out, and you learn and you grow, and you go, okay, this actually kind of works for us. So,
I absolutely adore you, and I'll probably contact you tomorrow during a decent hour and ask you to record yourself saying you don't enjoy cooking, because my husband thinks I'm the only one.
I will happily tell you that one. Let me know, because I do not. You know what you get when you cook and you can and do the things at home, right? Dishes. You get dishes.
Yeah, that's why I messaged you, because I finally can see my counter.
Woohoo! That's exciting.
So a question for you from Gwen at Broke Cowgirl Homestead. She'd like to know what state you are in.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
And Katie at Myrtle Beach, I'm assuming it's Katie at Myrtle Beach Farm, said, no questions, but thank you. You both, you're awesome.
Aw, thanks.
She's so sweet. And
I get such a kick out of seeing her goats too.
I know. And her turkeys.
They're so cute. They're so cute.
I know it. 30 years ago, my son brought chicks home from school, 2nd grade. Aw.
Nice.
That's awesome. I think that's all we have for questions. Oh, Lisa Colovi says me 3. Thank you. Dishes are my kryptonite. Cooking, happy to do it, but yeah, someone else can do the dishes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might enjoy it more if I had somebody to do the dishes for me.
Yeah.
Other than the occasional dishes fairy.
Yeah. I was more passionate about driving last minute to Rapid City to protect all the food that was in the refrigerator, my own and some that because we go like bi-monthly. So
Okay.
we had just gone last Saturday, so it's full. We're not a food desert yet. We were still full.
Oh gosh.
And I said to him, I'm like, we're going now. It's 5:00. We're going now. We can be home by 8. And then there we were up until 11 trying to get refrigerators in, but
Gosh.
it's done. That's all that matters. It's done.
Oh, thank goodness. Yep.
Yeah.
It's done. The stuff is protected. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you for coming and joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks again for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Thanks.
Make sure you
certainly you and I have plenty to talk about.
Always. We'll have to get a bunch of us. Rhonda wants to come back from
that'd be
Farm
cool.
Honey.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if we get a bunch of us on here chatting about stuff.
That could go on. That might have to be a long live.
It might have to be.
You get a couple of us like that going, and we don't maybe hush up too quick.
Yeah, StreamYard will shut us off at 12 hours. Don't worry. Or Melon or
There
whatever.
you go. There you go.
Well, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for coming. Love you guys. Thank you, Jesse Lazy Days Ahead, for the love raid. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and thank you, Lisa Colovi. And check out Diane at Shale Hollow Farmstead on YouTube. Like I said, it was pinned in the chat, and her website for her soaps and stuff. Just so even if you look around, you just got to look at the stuff. That's what I do. I love looking at stuff. But exactly. So just like check it out, you guys, and see if you like what's going on. But have a good night, everybody.
Night, everybody. Thanks so much for having me.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.